What is good, y'all? How y'all doing? It is the guy that everyone loves to hate, the Crooked Commish. Thank you all for joining us here at the Chicago Clubhouse Network. It's always fun to have people joining us here at the Clubhouse to talk sports and give us their takes. Please give us a like. Please give us your opinion on the topics that we're talking about in the chat so we can interact with you guys as well. And also subscribe if you haven't already. Share if you're feeling really extra froggy and want to help us out. If you know anybody that is a Chicago Bears fan or plays fantasy sports, check us out, share us, and let them know about us so we can continue to grow the clubhouse, because the more people we have in here, the better. And this is my baby girl here, Chocolate, making an appearance here. How you doing? Yes, we're live now. Yes, we are. She don't care. Anywho, so tonight, guys, we are going to have two different first-time guest appearances on tonight's show. Our first guest is going to be JD from Heart to Heart Fantasy Sports. If you guys are, like I said, into fantasy sports, you can also check out his page. His group go live almost on a daily basis for hours and talk any and all kinds of sports and stuff. Lately, they've been talking NFL free agency just because, of course, that's the hot topic. You know, everybody is buzzing about the new treats and the new toys and the new players they got on their team. Unless you're a Niners fan, then maybe you're not too excited because you've been losing more players than you're gaining. So, but that's neither here nor there. Our second guest, though, is someone who is a Bears fan, and we'll be getting into Bears talk and getting his opinion. Someone named Chicago Joe. He will also give you guys advice for any of you that like to put a little cheese on these games, some money on these games, give you some advice and some pointers on how he picks his games and how he figures out his winners and whatnot and what's the proper way to bet and stuff. So we got a jam-packed show tonight, guys. Like I said, hit that thumbs up button and share us and hang tight as we kick it off. Let's go. And we are back. Good evening, guys. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Good to see you guys here from Heart to Heart crew already in the chat representing, and we really appreciate that shit. So let's get it kicked off. Let's go ahead and get our guest in here so we can get going and chop it up and start talking about the latest news and get everyone's opinion on what they think is going on and what they like and what they don't like. So first, let's go ahead and get JD in here from Heart to Heart Fantasy Sports. JD, how you doing?
Everything good. How you doing tonight?
Good. I'm just happy I finally got your name right. I've been saying it wrong for the first few minutes backstage and shit. So I'm happy I finally, fixed that glitch of mine.
It's all good. Only one more thing. Heart to start.
Heart to start.
It's all good. It's all good.
Can't get it all right. But thank you for correcting me. Heart to Start, guys. Check them out on their fantasy football page on YouTube.
Step by step.
So, JD, you are a Niners fan. Is that correct?
Definitely.
So, what is your opinion on what's been going on with your team? Like I said, it seemed like I said in the intro, you guys have been doing a little bit more subtracting than addition. So do you understand the reasoning for it? Are you cool with it? Or are you kind of pulling your hair out, kind of wondering what the hell y'all doing?
I definitely understand the reasoning for it. The reasoning for it, to me, in my opinion, is that it's time to start moving on with some of these veterans. Travarius Ward got a nice little bit of change from the Colts. We definitely wasn't going to match that. Aaron Banks, $77 million contract from the Packers, who happened to be in your division. We definitely wasn't going to match that. I hate to lose Dre Greenlaw, one of the hearts, probably if not the heart and soul of the defense. That one definitely hurts. Hufanga hasn't been on the field for us in 2 years, consistently. So I'm not too mad at that. And plus, we have been drafting to replace his position with Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa, as well as two of the free agent signings that we have made in Pinnock and I can't think of the other DB's name, but I'm not too mad at it. They did bring Juszczyk back. They traded Jordan Mason, who happened to be an undrafted free agent, which the Vikings, who gave I think he got $5 million for this year, and he was only making 800,000 with us. So that's another salary cap move, in my opinion. And plus, you got to move up one round and giving him up. So I'm not too mad at the moves. It's just mad. I'm just mad that we wasn't able to get the ring with those players that we had. That core base. But we still got perfect Purdy, 100%. Hopefully C-Mac comes back healthy and at least gives us 14 and 15 games. I love what Garendo did. Give us a healthy Ayuk, and then we'll make the pieces work. We got I think we got six picks in the first 4 rounds, so we're gonna make it happen, man. I'm excited.
You guys are definitely going to be a lot younger than what you have been in the previous years. That's for sure. So let's go ahead and get our other guest in here. He is someone who enjoys Chicago sports, but he also enjoys winning some money with Chicago sports and stuff. So if you guys like I said, like to put some action on some of these games, look this guy up. He's got a TikTok page as well where he puts on all his picks. And guess what the best part is? Does that shit for free. Gives his picks out for free. So he doesn't make anything crazy, anything too silly or anything like that. He's got a method and a reasoning to how he picks these picks. So we'll get him on here to explain it all. It goes by the name of Chicago Joe.
How are you today?
Good. How you doing, Joe? How's the weather over there?
It's beautiful today, 65 degrees and sunny.
Awesome. Must be in California.
Yeah, in LA.
Good old LA. Love it. That's awesome. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. With your name being Chicago Joe, though, I have to assume that you are a fellow Bears fan and Chicago fan, correct?
Just my whole life. Yeah.
So how born in Chicago, or how did you exactly become a Chicago fan? And then when did you go to LA?
I was born and raised in Chicago. I'm actually only in LA temporarily. As soon as the baseball season starts, I'm going to start moving around to some new stadiums here. I've been traveling the country to try and see all the stadiums.
That's awesome. Let me know when you go to Chase Field over here in Arizona and stuff. What game you're going to? I'll try and meet up with you.
I was there last year when they played the Yankees, like the first week of the season or second week of the season.
Well, the opener's against the Cubs here at the end of the month. So, I mean, if you really need a reason to come down here, I mean, that's as good as any.
I've been thinking about it.
Hey, funny thing, I've been thinking about going to that game too. What do you know? Right. If you end up making it and going, let me know, man.
You bet I will.
Dan, thank you. What's up? How you doing? Thank you for joining us. So let me get your take real quick just on the latest moves that the Bears have been making. Are you a fan of what they've been doing with the offensive line trades and kind of free agent moves? Are you hoping that they would go for some bigger names as far as weapons, or are you good with everything that they've done so far?
Well, first and foremost, I think the Bears were held back a little bit by Virginia McCaskey, and may she rest in peace. But we all saw what happened with the Blackhawks after Bill Wirtz died, and then they won three championships. And I think we're going to see some of the same things with the Bears. They're going to have a little more freedom, and some of these moves that they're making this year, I am 100%, in favor of, because they're building every piece that they need to build to make Caleb better, and he's already good. He's already real good. So I'm thrilled with a lot of things they're doing. I'm sure they have some ideas of some young players they want on the team, and who they're going to draft. But it's I'm thrilled with what they've been doing. As far as, DeAndre Swift, I think was a good pickup. Who else?
They drafted Rome Odunze in the first round, and then traded for DJ, obviously, a while back. It was part of the whole Caleb thing. So, like I said, this past offseason, though, they've definitely been fixing the offensive line. When I heard that they signed Dolman, this was
got
me
him
right here.
We fucking got him.
I was fucking loving that shit. He was at the top of my wish list. It was to get the center from Atlanta and stuff. So when it came out within the first hour of free agency that he was signing with us, and he didn't completely break the bank with us. He got paid a decent amount, but it's not like he became the number one center by a long shot, overpaid or anything like that. So I was really loving that move, and finally we got a good quality, good run blocking center as well.
That's a huge improvement for the Bears. Something, maybe the most important piece they're going to put in the puzzle this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, and if he ends up working out, because it was only a 3-year contract. So, if he stays healthy and the chemistry between him and Caleb stays really good, then there's no reason why not to give him another contract after this first contract up, especially, like I said, if everything's falling into place with Caleb and we're going to give Caleb another contract, just keep that kind of linked together there. So.
Right. And I'm sure you have a lot of Bear fans that watch this show. And I just want to tell them all that, Caleb is the real deal. And, when you come into the pros from college and you start as a rookie, you're playing against the top players in the world, where you've been playing against all the top high school players in the world, and in college. And now you're playing against the top 200 players in the world, and he had quite a season last year, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah, like I said, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Like I said, he had a decent low amount of interceptions and whatnot. So he took care of the ball. He didn't fumble the ball as much as I was afraid if he was going to do, because back in college, he fumbled the ball quite a bit, and that's one of the things that I was worried about here. But for the most part, he seemed to have taken care of that and did a good job of just overall protecting the ball. So real quick, I wanted to get your opinion on how do you think, and then after that, I'd love to get your opinion, because the guy came from your team, JD. But what do you think about our division opponent, Minnesota, kind of what they've been doing? Recently traded for Jordan Mason. So now they have another running back to match up with Aaron Jones. And then on the defensive side, signed both Hargraves and Jonathan Allen. So they definitely beefed up their defensive line as well. So what are your thoughts on what Minnesota's been doing so far? And then I guess there's still possibly word that they could get Aaron Rodgers on the team as well. So like if that fucking perfect storm all came together with Rodgers completes the circle, with the fucking Brett Favre, journey, how big of a threat do you see Minnesota being?
Well, also not only with the defensive line, but Will Fries and Ryan Kelly from Indianapolis, they were able to poach those people off the offensive line and, take a page out of what you guys booked this offseason as well. So the writing is on the wall. Is everybody wants to copycat what Detroit is, because Detroit was the head of the division 100%. You've seen Green Bay also invests in their offensive line as well. And, Josh Jacobs totes the rock as well. So even though Minnesota does not have a quarterback yet, and it's not easy to say it's a plug and play, because we've seen if it is Aaron Rodgers, what happened with him the last 2 years. We had to wait a whole year to see what it really was. And then he had to get healthy off of that Achilles. So if he's fully healthy and he's walking into the day one starter over there in Minnesota, I would say a wild card would be the floor for them. You know what I mean? Going into week 7, I think it was, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Packers and Detroit, all 4 of you guys had 5 wins at one point in the season, I think it was. So the whole division was nasty. So, I'm just excited as a football fan, but also as a fantasy football enthusiast to see this whole the division, because it's going to be a lot of players that's drafted from all 4 of these teams in fantasy football that's going to be highly relevant. And it's going to get back to the black and blue division when it was just the NFC Central, like how it used to be back then.
Good. Chicago Joe, what are your thoughts on what Minnesota's been doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not getting worse, that's for sure. And, it wouldn't have surprised me if they went to the Super Bowl last year, and the Lions or the Lions. So, the fact is our division is getting to be one of the tougher divisions in all of football. And, as a Bear fan, I'm hoping that they're going to step it up and try and get to that height, because, as good as they are right now, I'm afraid they're still at best a third place team,
Yeah, that could be the sad truth, man. That really could be the sad truth. We still have to see what happens in the draft, obviously. The Bears still have some holes that they definitely need to fill. I'm not a big fan of Braxton Jones. I would love to see if they can get a better player at that position. But if we have to go with him because of what we did, everything else up the middle, I think we could kind of live with that and kind of get away with that and stuff. But they would have to, hopefully the coaches realize he's a liability on that side and do either give him protection and to help him have somebody else chip, or, have plays designed going away from him and whatnot, or where Caleb has to get the ball out quickly, or, at certain things just to kind of help him out and stuff like that. So it's not just all on Caleb.
Right. Of course. Absolutely.
But I think with the hiring of Ben Johnson and just with the acquisitions invested in the offensive line, it already shows that you guys are already on the right track. Ben Johnson, where he's coming from in the system that he implemented, and is playing copycat in the division 100%. So I think you guys are going to be all right. I don't know, what the expectations is for the first year, under his system, but within the next couple of years, they should be all right, especially with the development with him and Caleb tied hand in hand.
And with going on a little fantasy thing, how do you think Jordan Mason is going to do in Minnesota running behind Aaron Jones? Like, is it going to be like a 50-50 kind of split there, or do you think eventually Mason kind of overtakes that because Jones is kind of getting up there in age?
Not only is he getting up there in age, but he misses games. He's known to miss games his whole career. So yeah, I love the Aaron Jones pickup, especially with the investment into the offensive line. And if it's Aaron Rodgers or JJ or Flacco or et cetera, you're going to have to lean on that run game early so the quarterback can establish the chemistry in the passing game, because the new quarterback isn't just finna click with them. Maybe it might be JJ, because JJ got to get a little bit of an offseason workout with them. But I don't think that if it's a new quarterback coming in, it's going to take a little bit of time. So fantasy-wise, you definitely want to pick up Jordan Mason he might go 7th, 8th round in a single quarterback league. He's definitely somebody that you want to invest in this year for sure, because he showed that he can go ahead and tote the rock, but he did end up getting hurt. But I want to say he had about 400 carries before he got hurt. He 5.5 yards per carry. No, I ain't going to say that much. I want to say about 5 yards per I'll go dig it up once somebody else gets to talking. But matter of fact, I'll dig it up right now.
See, and I think that would be I mean, that would be just so wild. I would feel so bad for JJ McCarthy there because here he is. If Aaron Rodgers shows up there, because JJ's thinking, I'm going to be the starter now. This is my team. I'm going to be the man now. And then here comes Aaron Rodgers.
No, you're not. Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Stop. Stop disrespecting.
That's how Aaron Rodgers be coming in, stepping in, and be like, "Ha, you thought, son? Nah. Right. Yeah, I'm taking this over. Get back. Your seat's still over there getting cold. Get behind me there, Rook." So, but I think that would almost force JJ's hand to be like, "Yo, trade me out of here," because I can't sit 2 years behind Aaron Rodgers and have my name become irrelevant, because every year there's a whole new quarterback draft class, and I'm just going to kind of wither away waiting for Rodgers to figure, say I'm done finally. So,
yeah, unless he's not fully healthy. That's the only way that I see that. That's why I think the Aaron Rodgers name is tied to them. But the Jordan Mason stats: 153 carries, 769 yards, and 5.2 yards per carry. So over 5 yards per carry, 100%.
Not bad numbers at all. Not bad numbers. So, and like you said, their offensive line has gotten even better with their additions and shit. So, man, like I said, I hate to say it, but Minnesota doesn't look like they're going nowhere. Detroit is still going to be tough. The only thing that we got going, for Detroit not looking as strong is like they lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. So, we can't just assume that these new coaches are going to come in and fucking be able to take over where they left off. It could happen, but just can't assume that it's going to happen and whatnot. They may go through a little bit of a bump there trying to figure shit out for the first time.
I agree with you. We just recency bias. We seen when the Eagles lost the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and Shane Steichen and Gannon for the Cardinals, when they got poached off that staff, even though they went 10-0, but they lost their last 6 games. You know what I mean? And then they completely fired the staff and brought in Kelly and Nick Fanfield. You see, you know what I mean? So, it definitely when the changing of the guard happens and your coaches get to getting poached off or promoted, however you want to look at it, it will show. And another recency bias with us and our on the defensive side of the ball with Salah and D'Amico Ryans. Look what the defense after them two players or coaches got promoted to head coaches. Look where our defense went the last 2 years in I can't think of the Carolina Panthers. Steve Wilkes, and then last year with I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, completely went down after when you have success, your staff is going to get poached 100%.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And sometimes your team does take a fall.
That's why it's always tricky to have like your head coach be a defensive guy, because he's always going to have an offensive coordinator running it, and if he gets hot, then your offensive coordinator is getting poached to be a head coach somewhere. So that's what the one thing I kind of like what the Bears finally did is they hired an offensive-minded coach to where, the offense gets hot and it clicks the way we're all hoping it's going to click. We're not necessarily have to worry about our offensive coordinator getting poached off, because the head coach is still the main fucking master mold, kind of doing this shit. But Chicago Joe, I kind of wanted to get into what you like to do and kind of what your thing is there and betting these games and whatnot, and how you figure out how to pick these games and the whatnot. So what is your strategy on how you look at these games and whatnot, and how you kind of figure out what games to pick and what games to kind of shy away from and even the point system, how many points to give and how many points not to give?
Right. Well, I am a different type of handicapper than most of the guys who yell and scream and tell you they never lose and they have a 20-star game of the millennium today. I don't do any of that. My system is not based on running backs or the, and I'll just use football as the analogy now, but my systems are not based on the stats of the running backs or the quarterbacks or any of that, because I already know that Las Vegas knows all that information, and everything that I can come up with within all those numbers is just going to be either the same as Vegas or different than Vegas, maybe right, maybe wrong. But, I trust that they have these $100 billion computer systems that are coming up with these numbers. And so my systems are based on different type of math and also information that's based on the sharpest bettors in the world and where they're betting. And then I actually narrow the games down from there, where 95% of my games are all underdogs. All my picks are underdogs.
Okay.
In football, I have sometimes some favorites, but in basketball and baseball and hockey are always underdogs, always.
So what is your favorite sport to bet, I guess? Or would you say maybe your most successful one or area, or are you successful in all areas as far as sports?
Yeah, I mean, the systems are all based on the same type of numbers. So I'm as successful in one as I am with the other. One year may be a little different. In different sports, we could have a bad season in a sport. It doesn't mean we're going to win every day or every year even. The best bettors in the world, the professional sports bettors, they have about a 3 to 4% expected value. So they're not looking to go 10-0 every day. They're looking to go 6-4, 5-5, and have some underdogs that pay more than, like in baseball. If you bet the underdog, you're going to bet, let's say, $1 to get back $1.50. Where
Okay,
if you're betting the favorite, you're betting $1.70 to win that same dollar. So when you lose $1.70. And now you have to win 2 games just to be even if you're betting favorites. So in money line sports like baseball and hockey, I never bet a favorite. Never.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the good thing to remember there for sure is, you're not, for the people that are betting, the important thing is make sure that you're betting with money that you can lose as well. Please be responsible with it and bet the proper amount of units. That's one of the main things that you preach and say a lot on, TikTok and whatnot is betting the right amount of units and whatnot. Because the last thing we want is anybody to, take your advice, bet on your games, and then next thing you know,
that ain't good enough. Come on, Joe.
Kind of doing some stuff like that, and stuff. So, just
Right.
understand.
But
Go ahead.
with my systems, all the plays are 1 unit plays, so every play is the same. And my recommendation is, let's say you have a bankroll of $1,000, and that's your gambling money. I say never bet more than 2 or 3% of your bankroll on any game, and every game is the same. They're all 1 units. People who say they have the 5-star game of the year, they're lying. Now they win them sometimes and they lose them sometimes,
Right.
But every game is the same. Every game gives you a chance to win or lose, So the way to be able to play long term is to get all the value you could get. Where like with my baseball system and my hockey system, you could win 42% of your games and be profitable. So you could lose way more than you win and be profitable.
If you bet it properly.
And I tell all the people who follow me as well, I say, if you need somebody to tell you to bet a 200 favorite, then you shouldn't be betting on sports at all. So if you have to have somebody tell you to bet $200 to win $100 or $2 to win $1, then you shouldn't be betting, because there's no value in those games.
Gotcha.
And you
Okay.
could never beat Vegas if you're betting those games.
Okay. So it sounds like you're saying you just got to pick your spots for sure. Pick your spots and realize, like I said, sometimes you're going to miss some of those spots.
No, of course. It's not first is my systems are they already narrow down the games. So like in hockey, you have to be a home underdog. You have to be. Otherwise, you're automatically excluded from the system. So
Okay.
I could maybe only have to look at 4 different games one day, or 2 different games, sometimes none.
Okay.
So I've eliminated a lot of the games already. And then it comes into the math, and it comes into the, where the sharpest bettors are playing, and what they're playing. And again, it doesn't mean we're going to win all those games, but my systems give people a chance to play for a long time and have a chance to beat the system, and not lose their bankroll. When somebody tells you to bet 10 units on a game one day, to me, 10 units is 30% of my bankroll.
Yeah.
And you lose, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
You have to be able to ride out the losing streaks, and there will be losing streaks. And you have to be able to take advantage of the winning streaks. And that's how you get to play this game for a long time. There's very few people who beat this industry in the world.
Right.
Very few in the world. And I won't say I'll beat the industry, but I'll be as good or better than anybody that's on TikTok. And I'll give it to you real. I'm not going to tell you to bet 10 times the amount you bet on a game, because I think it's better than it is.
Right. That's all you can ask for is real, honest advice. He gives his picks away for free as well, so it's not like he's charging or asking for anything, extra on the side. If you do happen to win a good score with it and you want to donate, say like as a thank you, he'll definitely obviously accept that, but he's not charging you for these picks at all. So if nothing else, like what is the name of your page? Because your main thing is Let's Win Together. So
right, and that's the name of my page. It's Let's Win Together Sports.
There you go.
And I post my picks every day. I am going to start going live March 27th, which happens to be opening day baseball, my favorite sport, and not necessarily my favorite sport to bet, but my favorite sport.
Okay.
And I will be going live, but I post my picks every day for free, and I get people that send me a little something on PayPal or Cash App or one of them, here and there, and I'm thrilled about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thrilled about that.
No, it's always
but
nice
I don't
when
charge
people
anything for it. If people want to follow me, great. If they don't want to follow me, great. But my systems do give you the best chance to play for as long as you could possibly play.
Let's win together.
Let's win together.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Like I said, we always appreciate the good and free advice, like I said, and then it's always makes it a lot funner when we do hit and we all do win together and stuff. So it makes it a nice big party there at the end. So let's get back to football real quick. We got a question coming in from Jen Wealth Net.
That's
Said,
Bogey.
If Tyler Warren, Bogey,
Yep.
Thank you for joining us, man. You the man. Really appreciate it. He's asking here at the 10th spot of the draft, if the tight end Warren happens to fall to that spot, would you be interested to kind of see the Bears draft him and pair him up with Komet? Chicago Joe.
I'm sorry, you were asking me that question?
Yeah. Are you familiar with Tyler Warren, the tight end coming out of is it Iowa, I believe? Or no. Is it Penn State?
Penn State.
Right,
Penn State.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always a big believer that you can't have enough good tight ends for sure, and as long as you have some good tight ends right now, and I think we do have a couple of good tight ends. You take
We
a
have
young guy
Komet.
and you teach him for a year or two, and I mean, Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench for how many years behind Brett Favre, and he came in and he was great. And I believe that with all players in the NFL, they have a better chance of being great if they sit on the bench behind a couple of good players.
I like.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. What would you think if Chicago did that?
I wouldn't. If I was Chicago, I wouldn't do that. I would go ahead and run with Komet. If we don't go offensive line, if the guy I think is from Missouri, I can't think of his name. If he's not there for us, and I think you guys picked right before us, is the linebacker from Alabama, Campbell. That's who y'all need. Y'all need a thumper on that side right there to go ahead and bring some of that Chicago thumper mystique, pairing with Edmonds and Montez Sweat, who y'all invested. I think y'all gave up a second round to bring in Sweat.
Yes, we did.
From the Redskins, not the Redskins, excuse me, the Commanders. Please forgive me. Yeah, I think that Jahad Campbell is a damn good pick. I would love for us to get him if we can't go get a Med or whatever Brad's name is. But yeah, I wouldn't even invest in offense right now, y'all, unless it's a tackle. You know what I mean? To go ahead and pair with the 3 offensive linemen that you brought in, or Genty. You know what I mean? There's people in the comments talking about Genty, but Campbell for y'all is a home run pick for me.
Yeah, and I hear that with Amp over there. He said he wants a lineman, and if it was that lineman from Missouri, I like him as well. He had a good, decent 40-yard dash as well, so he has some decent speed to him. But I would be I can't lie, I would be super intrigued if they ended up trading back a little and then ended up drafting that tight end out of Penn State. I think it would kind of make Cole Kmet's days numbered in Chicago. You'd probably only have a year or two left, before he would be shown the exit. But I wouldn't think it would be the worst thing. But like I said, I would be definitely surprised by it. I think that's one of those luxury picks that I'm not sure if we're ready for that yet. I think how Amp was saying, we need to shore up that offensive line, because a lot of the guys that they did trade for, they only have, like Joe Thuney is only here on a 1-year contract unless they give him an extension.
And he's old.
And he's 30 something. Yeah. So it's not like you can depend on him for the next 7 years. You want to get your guy maybe to line up right behind him and train behind him, kind of see the shit that he brings to the office day in and day out, how he prepares each day, and kind of follow in that footsteps and see how a professional does that shit.
And another thing is too, though, with Ben Johnson is that that Jamar Chase draft, that's when y'all got Panay. Panay fell right into y'all lap. So, he might want to see, well, all these skill players done went off the board. The best tackle then fell into my lap. I got the luxury of kicking him out to the right tackle, and he's catching screens and
throwing passes.
Throwing passes like you never know what Ben Johnson got up his sleeve, man. 100%.
For sure. And to answer Squaw's question, are we giving up on Amagaji? I don't think they're giving up on him. I mean, it's a little tricky to say because it's not this coaching regime that drafted him. It's the same GM, sure. But I think this is a big year for him. He needs to show this new coaching staff that he's an actual NFL quality type of tackle and stuff. So he's going to have a full season this year of training camp, of OTAs and shit like that. He's definitely one of those guys that should not be skipping off-season programs and workouts and shit like that. If he wants to make an impact and be an actual player on this offensive line, he needs to be there, from day one, and to show, like I said, that he can move right, his body's ready to go, Because, like I said, when he did get playing time there last year, he struggled. He struggled real bad. He had some key moments where he looked good, but he definitely had his moments where he looked lost. So, like I said, this year is a big year for Amagaji, and he needs to take a step up and show this coaching staff that he's an actual NFL player and he's here to stay. So, anywho, though, what else do you think that your team, the 49ers, what moves do you see on the horizon for them? What direction do you think that they may go in the draft? Are you thinking that they're going to give Purdy an extension this year, or are they going to try and push that off till next year?
Well, it's probably ain't too many more moves that's going to be made in the off season. I mean, in the free agency period, because it's already been mid-tier and low-level signings that they've been bringing in. So it ain't finna be no swing for the fences, because there ain't too much more out there on the market. So if they do bring in somebody, it ain't gonna make no waves. So we focusing in on the draft. That Jordan Mason trade does give us a pick in each round, and like I said, I think we have six picks in the first 4 rounds. So that's we're definitely finna get younger 100%. So I definitely see the Brock Purdy contract coming on the horizon. Now it just depends on. Because a week ago they were saying they came in at $45 million, which is highly disrespectful. But where you see Sam Darnold sign at and what he got, and Brock Purdy coming in, even though he got a Super Bowl appearance and an NFC championship under his belt, and Sam Darnold don't got that, but it should be somewhere not too far off. You know what I mean? Even though Brock only got 2 full seasons under his belt, and he's still learning to play the position at a high level, 100%. So I'm definitely thinking that this contract is going to come either with this year, or they work it off into the next off season. If it was my preference, I'd rather do it now. That way we get it for a little bit cheaper, just based on if they go into this season and get into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because can't predict injury. You don't know what's going to happen. It's always a worst to first in every year in the playoffs. We've seen it with just Washington. Recency bias. Didn't nobody have Washington to the moon like this that fast? So it could definitely happen. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I'm hoping that we do get his contract done as soon as possible, just in case we don't have to do what Jerry had to do for Dak, or et cetera, or pay Trevor Lawrence what he's not worth, or Tua what he's not worth. You see it all the time, 100%. So let's get him locked in, and let's just continue the path of what we're doing, is building through this draft, getting mid to low tier free agents, hoping they fit your system, and then just your draft picks have to hit. Now, that's we don't have a good batting average in the first and second round, but 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks, we hit on them. So I'm very optimistic for us, 100%. And our window isn't closing. You see how the Rams is rebuilding or have retooled from saying F those picks to now building their defense through a young defense and hitting on their picks, investing into with their older quarterback and the talent that they have around their offense, and look at them only a play away from contending with the or beating the Eagles. So yeah, man, I'm highly optimistic for my guys, man.
So a question coming in from our boy Amp that does the pregame show. He's asking, do you believe that Purdy is worth that contract, the bag that he's about to get?
So like I said, if it was true that they came in at $45 million, and you can get him under the 55 mark and not have to go the Dak Prescott route with the 60, then I definitely feel that he's there. But see, the Niners, it's a business, and so they're going to come in low. So you're definitely going, you're going to have to negotiate, you know what I mean? And I think that Brock Purdy, you definitely have to lock him in for at least in the low 50s, you know what I mean? 55, I'll go up that way. But, if you give him 3 to 4 years and also giving, say, like 100 guaranteed, and also the last 2 years, you still got to work for that, you know what I mean? You know, I'm not I'm an armchair GM. You know what I mean? So I definitely will lock him in for at least three to 4 years with 120 guaranteed, 150 guaranteed. So that's 50 million, and you can get up out of there if he's not that. But also a smooth under the radar move is bringing in Mac Jones. When we drafted Trey Lance, before we traded up, the rumor was we was getting Mac Jones. So you got Mac Jones, who came in for 3 to 4 games last year when Trevor Lawrence went out and looked at all right. So I think Mac Jones also fits into our system. And we just got Sam Darnold. Before Darnold was in Minnesota, he was with us. Baker, he come from the same tree with McVay, from McVay going to Tampa. So, you know what I mean? That system is getting quarterbacks paid. So I let a Mac Jones move too. So, you know what I mean? I didn't been rambling too much. My bad, y'all.
No, it's good. You're good. You're good. Bones is saying with the landscape of QBs and today's NFL, I think Brock is worth $50 million. There's not a lot of good QBs out there, and even fewer great QBs. I think Brock is really good. I mean, the man being Mr. Irrelevant to being, you know, like you're the main guy, the main starting QB, and a like I said, a quality one is that, you know, even if it's just, hey, this system fits him, whatever, he's working for you guys and shit, you know, and it's working out. So don't break it if it ain't, or don't fix it if it ain't broken type of mentality.
100%. So,
Mr. Chicago, I wanted to ask you real quick here, just within our division here, who do you think, and I'll ask you, JD, for your take as well in your side, but Mr. Chicago Joe, who do you think is the biggest threat in our division to win it? Who's going to be our biggest hurdle and stuff to kind of deal with? Is it still going to be Green Bay, or is Detroit still, you know, the king there to kind of?
Well, before I answer that question, I do want to make one quick statement. As long as you brought up the Packers,
Okay.
The Bears are currently 1-0 in 2025, and the Packers are 0-2, and that's all I have to say about that. So,
No, I love it. I love it. I mean, that's straight facts too. That's facts. So, any
Right.
Packer fans in here that don't like that shit, well, that's just too damn bad. You know, you have to deal with that shit.
which is the exact reason I brought it up. But that being said, I still think. I mean, you're if Aaron Rodgers winds up on the Vikings, you know, then that maybe tips the scale even a little more. But I think it's a pretty big toss up right now between Detroit and Minnesota, and you know, I'm gonna say that Detroit is going to not take any steps backwards next year due to any coaching changes or any of that. You know,
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a Detroit Lions fan, but
Campbell's a good coach, though. He's a damn good coach.
yeah, they've been really good and fun to watch. And as far as I'm concerned, if there's a team in our division that should win it next, if it's not going to be the Bears, I hope it's the Lions, because I think they deserve it. They've done a lot of great things over the last few years. They've caught a little bad luck in the playoffs, and you know, but they easily could have gone to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they had a really decent shot, and I was a little surprised that they didn't at least get to the next round of the playoffs. So, but like I said, it's not like I broke my heart or anything. It was spilling over, or crying for them or anything like that. I was still on cloud nine with the Bears beating the Packers there at the end of the season. So,
right now, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to the Bears. If they don't beat the Packers, the fans uproar in Chicago, and so it stayed a little quiet for a little while, and then Virginia passed away. So they got to break the Bears, and but I think they are going the right direction. I think they have winning in mind. They want the fans to be happy again, you know, and I hope they rebuild that racetrack in Arlington Heights if they're not going to use it for a football stadium.
Ah, yeah, that's another thing. So you would prefer, or you wouldn't mind if they did move to Arlington Heights instead of staying in the city and being downtown Chicago?
I mean, it's not a bad spot to be, because you're not that far from the city. The train drops you right off at Arlington Park. I mean, right at Arlington Park. So you could take the train there just like people take the train to Wrigley Field and get off in right field. The train drops you off right at the track. And if they do some repair work on the roads that are the main arteries to get to Arlington Heights in the suburbs, then it would be awesome because they could build a dome. We're never going to get a Super Bowl without a dome. A Super Bowl in Chicago without a dome. And to me, those things mean something,
Yeah. That's more money for the city that it brings in for sure. So, and I definitely can attest to the effects of it here being in Arizona with the Cardinals getting, Super Bowl bids every 4 or 5 years. The Super Bowl comes into town, and it's a party atmosphere when they do come, no matter who the teams are. You get people coming in from all over. So you got a bunch of celebrities coming in. You got ex-NFL, current NFL players coming in and being around the area. So like I said, it makes the spot lovely. All
the media coming in. Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, a lot of the media we could do without.
Facts. JD, who is the biggest threat in your guys' division? Who do you guys see as the 49ers being the biggest hurdle to try and win your division?
It's still the Rams, 100%. You retain Matthew Stafford. The rumor is that they allowed him to go seek what his value was, and it came out to be
found out real quick.
100%. So yeah, they definitely found out real quick. And not only did they find out real quick, they invested in him by bringing in Devontae Adams, not losing not too many pieces on their defense. Jonah Jackson, one of y'all players, he came from there. I think he came from the Rams. So, they might be having to go replenish their offensive line. But I think it's the Rams that's the NFC West favorites for sure. I love what Seattle did, bringing in Cooper Kupp, bringing him home. You wouldn't let Geno go unless you knew that, in my opinion, that you had Sam Darnold in the waiting. You get Sam Darnold on a nice deal to where you can invest in other aspects on your team, and then also get a draft pick for the Geno deal. In which you get younger at the quarterback position. So yeah, Seattle looked good. Gannon, I got faith in Gannon doing his thing, rebuilding that defense and over there. So, and hopefully, Kyler and Marvin Harrison and McBride can get it together. So I like the West, but the favorite for me is going to be the Rams. But we might get if we can get 10 wins, we might sneak into the offs 100%. I'm trying to play it coy. I want to see what we do in the draft, and maybe get some if we sign any low level more free agents to help build the depth of the team with all the pieces that we have let go.
Okay. I mean, like I said, the Rams getting Devontae Adams was definitely a big play, a big move right there. So, and I know he's an LA guy. He wanted to stay kind of in the West Coast and stuff. That's why he picked the Raiders there at first and whatnot. But like I said, being from, I think, Fresno State, where he went to college and stuff like that. So him kind of getting to play and stay in LA, I'm sure is just perfect for him because he's got a lot of family and relatives over there that can now come and see him, more often than not and stuff. So like I said, the Rams are going to be tough this year for sure. But Seattle's definitely a wild card play. I know their offensive line's still a little suspect, but Cooper Kupp going over to them will be interesting to see how him and Jackson Smith-Njigba kind of do and how they pair up and stuff, because I think both of those guys kind of play in the slot. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pair them up and shit like that, and see if Kupp still has some more fuel in his cup there. So, but we'll see. Guys, we are coming up against it. Have a few minutes left. Chicago Joe, going to give you this time here, kind of like let the good people know here where can they find you, and kind of any other last information and stuff that you want to give out so the people know about yourself here?
Yeah. So anyway, if anybody would like to follow me and my picks on TikTok, my name is Let's Win Together Sports, and I post my picks every day before the games start. I don't charge anything, and I'm going to start going live on March 27th and explaining why following my systems will give you longevity in this marketplace, because it's not about winning 40 units a week. Because if you can win 40 units a week, you could lose 44 units in a week with the juice just as easily. Right. And when you lose those 44 units, you're out of the game. I promise you. So the way I do it, again, it's not a win every day system. It's just not possible to do. I don't care what these guys say. All the rest of them win every day, but with my systems, you're going to win more than 55% of your games in basketball and in football, and you're going to win over 44% of your games in baseball and hockey, and those are all profitable. So,
Awesome.
if you like this kind of thing and you'd like to learn about it, follow me on Let's Win Together Sports on TikTok. And we'll have fun.
Are you on any other platforms? Or do you have an Instagram or anything else like that? Just TikTok?
Just TikTok.
And then when you say you're going live, that's going to be live on TikTok as well.
That will be live on TikTok, yes. And
okay.
I remind everybody daily on my page when I'll be going live. I have not determined what time those lives will be yet. I've been asking some of my viewers and trying to see what's best for the viewers.
Okay. No problem. No, I'll be joining you. Like I said, I already follow you as well. So I'll be looking forward to that day, and I'll be on there. Absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate you joining us and being on here.
And I watch all your content that you post up on there, and you guys, you do a great job, and I appreciate your platform as well. And I always learn a little something from you guys, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely. JD, please, your turn. I appreciate you coming on here. Let the good people know that aren't already following you and part of your group, where they could find you and kind of like what you guys talk about and your guys' thing. Please promote yourself and your guys' group.
I appreciate you for having me, big friend. Nice to meet you too, Joe. You can find me on the Hard to Start podcast, all one word, on any social media platform. Hard to Start podcast. Over there, we talk fantasy football. We talk trending news, world news, pop culture, hip hop culture. Not only do we do that, but we go live every Tuesdays and Fridays for fantasy football content, where we multi-stream to 7 different platforms. And shout out to all my Gen Wealth brothers. You can go over to Gen Wealth Net, all one word, on YouTube and get some dope fantasy football content. Like I said, we went 5 days this week for the free agency coverage. You know what I mean? So we just fantasy football degenerates over there at the Gen Wealth. You know what I mean? You definitely follow that for sure. And then if you want not only if you want fantasy football content in the hip hop culture like type style, just follow Hard to Start podcast. Not only, like I said, fantasy football, but just pop culture and trending news as well, man. 100%.
Awesome. Love it. So guys, go ahead and check them out. Like I said, especially if you're fantasy junkies like we are. Hard to Start, JD and crew, there's a group of them there that get together where they talk sports and whatnot, interact with the chat as well. So we try and do that as much as possible. Joe, real quick, I wanted to ask you, you say you put what picks today did you put out and stuff? So the people that haven't gotten a chance to check you out, give us a live kind of thing on what good picks you had posted out there today.
Okay. So today, obviously, I mean, there wasn't a huge slew of college basketball games. I did come up with 2 games that I picked. I had George Mason plus 7.5. I believe they wound up losing by 4 or 5. So they covered. And then I had University of Alabama Birmingham plus 3.5. They kept it close most of the game. They wound up losing by, I think, 12. So right now we're 1-1, and we have one more game this evening, which is the Milwaukee Bucks plus 5.5.
Okay. Well, hopefully the Bucks can cover that, so we can all be cheering and saying,
"Show me the money."
Appreciate that.
yeah. So hopefully we'll be for the night and stuff. But if not, we'll be back at it again tomorrow to try and get that shit back. So, guys, yeah, we are up to it, man. We're about an hour in. We like to just run these shows about an hour long. So check out the main show, guys. If you're into Chicago sports, Tuesdays is our main show to talk about strictly Chicago news, Chicago, moves and whatnot, and what they've done in the most recent free agency, and get our opinions and whatnot. So we have Frank the Tank, we have JD, we have T-Nick, Foulmouth C, and also Mr. Chicago comes on and gives his opinions on what's going on. But JD and Chicago Joe, from the bottom of my heart, man, I really do appreciate you guys joining me. And this is for you guys both here.
Hey, come back.
All right. I appreciate you too. We'll do it again another time.
Absolutely. Please come back here. I love doing this shit. It was a great time. It was fun doing it with talking sports and chopping it up with you guys. And JD, I'm looking forward to joining your platform and hanging out with you all on your show. So
you already know. Don't make it happen.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up, man. Thank you all for joining us again. Please remember to hit the like. And remember, if you can't be good at it, well, damn it, at least be good at it.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
Miss Facts.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Be safe.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.